so happy to be here today. This is our episode 2 for the Mom series. We are recording for Mother's Day, but I have enjoyed it so much that I'm sure there'll be more to come. It's my pleasure to introduce the 2 boss moms I have known forever. They are my faves, mompreneurs, and always I've looked up to them. Always wondering how do they turn out like this and manage their children and homes as well as their rocking businesses. So without wasting much time, that's Farah, and she's an architect and interior designer. And Farah, tell us more about Chestnut Stories and how did you come up with that name? It's so wonderful.
So Chestnut Stories is an interior design studio. It's about 11 years old now, and I of course started the studio after I had both my babies. So when my second one was 3 and the older one was 6 is when I started the studio. And there really is no backstory to why I named it Chestnut Stories. I just wanted a different name. There was no logic. I just didn't want to call it design studio, any of those things. So I like the sound of chestnut. It is also a word. I needed a second name.
It just sounded so classy when you launched it. So probably I took this opportunity today to ask you.
So everybody
classy,
actually asked me.
Very classy.
Thank you. And there really was no particular story behind it. And when I needed the word story, one of my best friends actually, while I was sitting with her and brainstorming, she suggested this name. I said, yeah, it has a nice ring to it. Chestnut Stories, okay. And it just started off like that. But I like doing things that way in general also.
So can you share something about your motherhood with us, with our viewers? Of course, we know the intention that, by sharing our stories, I hope you can relate to it and pick up tips from wonderful mothers here today at Peekaboo. And Farah, come on, let's hear something different, something like what is that one intention you changed or adopted to make a difference in your motherhood?
So I think for me, from the beginning, it's always been about allowing them to make the mistakes. So I think initially when they were much younger, you feel like they are little individuals, they are babies, they need to be corrected and taught, which actually according to me is not the correct approach to have, which is personal to me, and that's what I learned. And when I let them make their decisions, take those steps forward, fall, get up, dust yourself, learn from it, I have seen my kids evolve to another level the minute I let go.
Wow.
So I think that's worked for me.
Wow.
And that's what I want to do with the third one also, who I have now, who's really little. And I think that's one thing which has worked for me.
That's amazing. I mean, letting go it's so hard, and I'm sure it would have taken a lot out of you and also taken a lot of patience from you to be able to do it, It's not easy.
It was tough because, you always have this thing where you feel like you know it all because you are older, you have had that many more experiences in life. But it's very important for us to have that belief that even though they are small, they are little, they also know it all.
Yeah.
And they know how to figure things out. We just need to give them that freedom and that thing that we have their back. We are there to help them whenever they need.
Have you seen any difference between, let's say, with Arik and Anera and then now Azai?
So Azai is really little as yet. He's only 23 months old. So nothing really in terms of difference as in children. But if you tell me in terms of parenting also, I think I've always been a very relaxed mother, but it's been easier to be disconnected and connected now.
Nice.
I think because of the work. When the older 2 were as old as him, I was not working. So it was always only them on my mind. But now because of work, I think I have no choice but to also disconnect at times.
Absolutely.
So that's I think that's been a good thing. It's been very healthy.
Absolutely, yeah.
So how about you?
Yeah, I think exactly what she said, the connect and disconnect. Because for me, I think I've really learned how to be available for them in a very intentional way. So
yes.
If I have that time with them, whether it's, so they don't watch TV Monday to Friday. So the dinner time when my phone is away, 1 hour where they get that dedicated time with me and I get that time with them. there's a lot more sharing, there's a lot more openness. I get them in their true raw self, telling me about their day. And I think, nowadays with this, life has enough and more distractions around you. It's how do you cut that noise?
True.
And how do you give them that, your entire true self, and then you're really getting that mirrored back.
Yeah.
And I think that's something that, again, connect and disconnect.
Yeah. I completely agree.
Very clearly.
Yeah, I completely agree.
Oh my God, like mine are like working now, but I can't like agree with you more, both of you, because literally even now it's the same thing. I take off and I spend time with them, and I totally disconnect and I connect, and then I think it's an ongoing process. It goes on forever, and it just makes motherhood so beautiful.
I agree, yeah.
It absolutely changes so much dynamics, but it's the same.
True.
Clearly, it's something that we have to keep going.
Yeah.
No matter how old you're, from 23 months till
23 years old.
Exactly.
Yeah, I would say so. Yes. So how was it when you started your business, and did you have like difficulty leaving them back home and traveling? Was that anytime a challenge for you, Aditi, like in terms of?
Yeah, I mean, definitely it is. There is no two things about how difficult it is leaving your children and traveling for work. The guilt is real. There is no doubt about it. But I think over many, many years, I think I've started to understand and compartmentalize my life to the best way that I can. So like I said, when I'm with them and I give it as much as I can without, the noise and the fluff. And when I travel, I'm actually enjoying it. I mean, I love my work. There's no two things about it. So however there is guilt, there's also so much joy in traveling for work or going to the office every day. And also, to be honest, I'm trying to, they are also part of my work life. So they, come to the office with me. There is space for them. So they're also seeing me in a more independent role where they respect that, my mom is at work and that's a life that she has, and she's also there for us. So I think kind of creating that ecosystem makes it easier on a mom, especially because you are a primary caregiver and you want to build a business and make something for yourself also happen. Yeah. Layer it with fitness and, running your house and all of that are so many layers that you have to, build that ecosystem to keep it sound. Yeah.
How about you? Do you travel on work?
I do. I travel a lot, but thankfully I've never had mom guilt.
That's wonderful.
I tell everybody that I really have never had mom guilt, whether I have traveled on work, I've traveled on leisure, because I think maybe somewhere at the back of my head I've always known they are very well taken care of between my parents, my in-laws. Touch wood, we have great staff at home who are like family. So because I know everything is in play, if in order, and then I have their whole schedule organized, things taken care of, everything is prepared and kept. So I know nothing is moving out of place and they're still being taken care of very well. So I guess that played a huge role in me not having mom guilt. And yes, I did face difficulties initially when I started the business, only because I think when my second one was just about 2 months old is when I started working. I had not started the studio, but I had started freelancing then. So it was always these trips to the marble yard, and I get a call saying, she's crying, I think she's hungry. And then I used to drive back immediately, that half hour, 45 minutes, just to nurse her, and then drive back again. So it was mentally exhausting at that time, but I guess we all figure a way out with everything in life.
You only get stronger.
Yeah, you only get stronger. And I feel it's just the attitude you have of everything is possible. You can figure it all out. So the minute you think that way, it all becomes easy.
Yeah, I think so too. Like I always felt that conversations helped me a lot. So my children knew exactly what I was doing, what I was going for the exhibition. I actually almost sometimes was taking their inputs and their support emotionally. They were so excited. They would want to know, how the exhibition went. And if we were traveling for leisure alone, I would constantly miss them if there was good food. So, that conversation or treating them like another soul rather than a small child. Like I always treated them like equals. Yet, of course, as a parent, I had to discipline them or whatever. That's separate. But otherwise I always thought they were like equal in every other respect. They deserved trust, respect, understanding. And when I spoke to them with knowing that they are understanding, they did understand everything. Everything.
Yeah.
So yeah,
We always underestimate their maturity and understanding level.
absolutely.
The more conversation you have with them, the more they're just going to absorb that, like sponges, right? Like whatever you tell them, they're going to take it. So
Actually, I mean, your children are still younger, but for the last few years, I wish my children happy Teachers' Day. Because I really think they've been my gurus in so many ways. Like they have taught us so many things which we can't learn in any school, college, any program, which is what makes motherhood so special. Is there something that you would like to share that has made your motherhood special? Anything, like is there or something that you have learned from motherhood that
I think for me, it's just that sheer daily joy of getting back home from a long day of work. I don't know how it would be otherwise if I didn't have like these 3 tiny human beings in the house. And in my case, as you both know, they're all like of 3 different age groups. So when I enter the house, I'm pretty much behaving like 3 different people at the same time. And I think that's what's been the most precious thing for me at the end of the day.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean, for me, there's multiple small little instances that are like you said, like teaching moments that they have given me, which I don't think anybody or any experience would have taught me. Like just things like forgiving and forgetting. They do it so easily. So there's multiple different things. So on a day-to-day basis, that obviously happens. But like Farah said, I think it's just the joy of having someone that you've made and have seen from the day they've been born and see them grow. I think that's magical to see what they were when they were babies and how much my kids have grown over the years. And both of them being such individual personalities, so really individualistic in their own sense, nothing like each other, and seeing them figure out life. I think that's very magical to see.
Yeah, like for me, I really missed that. What Farah said was exactly my experience of coming home to happiness. But they also fly the nest, and I did miss that it was quiet. But I think I'd prepared myself, and since I hadn't studied abroad and they went abroad for education, I literally felt like I was living their life. Like I owned it so much that if she's walking back from college, I'm like, oh, like everything was making me so happy as if I was doing it, like whatever I didn't do, I was living it through them. So yeah, that would be my experience about happiness of home, of coming back home, was through phone calls.
Through phone calls, yeah.
Phone calls, they're always there, yeah. So if you were to imagine your next 5 years or next say 10 years, what do you think that you would like to do most with your children? If you had to, somebody said that, okay, today you can make a wish and you can do something more of this with your children. So what could that be? What could that
Very
be?
clear.
Oh, you're clear.
Literally, like you're saying it, I have it's so 2 things. One would be obviously to travel, to take off and travel. If I could give them that opportunity and give myself that freedom, I think just take off and travel the world and adventures, do things that you will not be doing because of just general routine of daily life. And secondly I love cooking. So for me, just the joy of having them with me and cooking and the whole experience around food is something that I would do more of.
Wow, that's a unique one. How about you, Farah? What do you
For
see
me,
yourself?
it would be plain and simple, just spending as much time, more and more
Chilling.
time, in whichever way.
Yeah.
In whichever way, whether it is sitting in the garden, doing nothing, each doing their own work, sitting in the family room, reading a book, watching the rain fall, traveling, doing anything, but just getting that time. And I realize now, as my oldest is on his way to going to university in another year, I'm not going to get to see as much of him. So, just the thought of that makes me feel and want to spend as much time with him more. So 8 to 10 years from now, when you say they're probably working, would they be married? No, they'll be too young for that. Yeah, okay. Yeah, unless he gets married when as young as I was. But probably working. So which again makes it that much more difficult. So for me, I think it'll be to just steal as many moments of togetherness as possible with them.
I think it's time and togetherness.
Time,
because if you can just do unended, where we decide how the day looks.
Correct.
But they say time is spelled like LOVE. But when we are with the children, just being honest, sometimes we just want to do something else, and in that, when we are with the kids, we are not able to think like this, right? We want to probably, like, the grass is greener on the other side. We want to be a little more independent. So how do you sometimes center yourselves? Is there any practice that you would like to share, something that you do that centers you and reminds you of your responsibilities, or your true heart, because in our deepest heart, right, we want to spend more time with them, but sometimes you're not able to. So how do we come back to that? And is there anything that you do that centers you back to your motherhood? Because we get lost. There's so many distractions everywhere. There's so much happening. How do you come back to, okay, I'm a mother and I'm enjoying this moment and I'm cooking and I'm happy in this moment?
So you're talking about cutting off all the noise and distraction from around.
How do you center and come back to motherhood?
I think in life it just comes back to you. Honestly, it's like the reality of it, right? Where if you're busy doing something, that's sort of at least for me, I am I'm the primary caregiver. I am there for them. I'm with them almost for anything that they need to do. So I think no matter what, I think just daily routine brings you back. And once you're in it, I think you're so. It's also these kids are born, you've seen them from the day they're born. So I feel like you are very intertwined into each other in some sense. That I do feel that finding, at least for me, I'm finding it just by day-to-day routine. I'm just there.
Nice. That's so nice. So you're always in that moment when you're with them by doing the day-to-day things, because it's literally life, right?
Also because I feel like they're at that age where, the dependence on a parent is quite high. So I do think that me being just present is inevitable and it's there. My patience level, questionable at a lot of times.
All mothers.
Yeah, takes a lot. But I think that's where I really need to just be okay, calm down, you've got this. I have to talk to myself a lot and give myself a lot of positive self-talk, which I do have to do. But other than that, I think it's just their lives and their routines and living in that.
It's amazing. Yeah, I mean, if there's something that you would like to change, if you want to change something going forward, or if there's something that you want to shift, what could that be, or improve or change, any kind of change or that you would want to do going forward as a mother, what could that be?
So not something that I would want to, but something I rather have already, and I've been working on that, is tailoring my communication based on each child.
Wow. Yeah. That's wonderful.
Yeah, so that's something I have been working on, because I figured now they're all different age groups. I can't speak the same language, the same style or tone with all of them. So that's something I've been practicing, and I hope to keep getting better, so that way I develop my own individual bond with each one of them in a different way.
Oh wow, that's a great tip for mothers, to be able to work on the communication. That's amazing for an intention, right?
Yeah, because I have my oldest is a boy, second one is a girl, third one is a baby boy. They have different personalities, different ways you need to work around their personalities. 100%. What works with one doesn't work with the other.
Definitely won't work with
the other. How do you handle it? Because I mean, when I was talking about patience, it's real. So I have a 6-year-old. Now it's getting better, but in the last, those toddler years, you're It's
Yeah.
they're also figuring themselves out. But you're dealing with 2 teens
Yeah.
and a toddler. I mean, that's, how do you deal with your, like, making yourself or like centering yourself or
I don't
keeping your
know.
peace?
I can do it quite well. I'm not saying it because it's me, but I'm one of those who can, like, even given a chance, I can pass out very peacefully and calmly while having 3 actively moving around children, like children moving around me. So I guess it's not been, or maybe like I said, I don't think of anything as a big deal.
Yeah. No, I have to agree with that. Even I have that personality where
I don't think of anything as a
Yeah.
big deal. So when I'm not thinking of anything as a big deal, even if somebody is viewing something as, oh my God, how are you managing it? For me, it's like a matter of fact. Okay, it's happening. Children behave like this. Okay, move on. Find a solution and
Yeah.
move on instead of sitting and thinking now, what, why. But I don't know, maybe that's helped me. I've actually not really given this a thought, but it's never been difficult.
Yeah.
So I'm guessing that it's probably not been difficult because of this attitude. I'm
No,
guessing.
agreed. I do see where you're coming from, because when you're looking at like multitasking and things like that, it's also how much you think about it. If everything is not
Yeah.
so much, you don't give it that much attention, like to overthink it,
Yeah.
then it just happens. It's like a phase. Today, this is going to be tough. Tomorrow, it might not
like
be tough.
like
and it just moves
my
on.
son had dengue about a couple of weeks ago, while everybody was like flabbergasted and stressed and worried. I was the primary caregiver. I am sitting while his fever was shooting up to 104 and running through those blood tests. But I'm not joking, there wasn't a single second of stress. For me it is what it is. It is dengue. It will take its course of time. He will be fine. And also, in every situation, my first thought is always positive. I can never think of a worst case scenario in anything. For me, it's like, okay, he is unwell. He will be fine.
Wow.
So there's no big deal. And I'm not joking. There wasn't a single day or night. Of course, I'm worried because I just want him to be okay. But I wasn't worried thinking about, will he be okay or no? What if something happens? So I don't beat myself at those things. So
More
I think
like you're worried
even,
about, okay, make sure the medicines are right. or
yeah, just make
that,
sure
like,
the
checking
routine, yeah, the temp,
like,
yeah, exactly. That's about it. So I guess that also has helped me.
That's huge. I mean, this little clip has potential to go viral even. Like, it should. Like, people should hear this, because it's not everyone can do it. You're talking about straight off being in a meditative state of always being in a meditative state of acceptance. It's the bottom line. What you just said is that you are so in the moment, and you're in the moment of acceptance, so you are able to glide and move.
And I think
flow.
gratitude also. So again, with the same thing, when my son said, why did this happen to me? My final exams are now in 3 weeks' time. I said, Arik, thank your stars. It's happened now. And by the time your exams are there, you will be fine. This could have happened then and you could have missed it. So I guess, when you just shift your mind, I guess it works. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's worked in my case.
But I'm
And it's
sure
great for the
I mean,
kids also, right? 'Cause
Yeah.
they're seeing,
Always
they're
looking
seeing-
at the positive
Yeah.
in every
when you look
situation.
at a problem, you're not looking at it and saying, okay, these are all the things that can go wrong.
Yeah.
You're in that moment, you're figuring out like, okay, what do I need to do to get just beyond this
Correct.
moment?
Yeah. Instead of cribbing and
challenge-
complaining. Yeah.
Challenge or toughness. Yeah.
That's
I
really
definitely
cool.
resonate with that.
Yeah,
It's very
really.
similar.
It's amazing to the way you said it was really amazing for everyone to watch and learn from. Yeah, I think if there was a tip that you would like to give to the mothers out there, what could it be? Like something from, like probably I would say that maybe one could always know that this is what we've got. This is like a family matrix, and we are like souls together, trying to learn from each other and grow. And to not, where I was coming to was to not let the children always feel like they're small children and they don't know. And if that message would be my one message to the parents watching this, but what could be your message today to give out to all the mothers?
Yeah, for me it would be like conversation and communication, to just keep those lines of communication open with your child. so that they have the freedom to share, and that they know that you're going to be there. Like you're their sounding board, you're in their corner, and they can come to you with absolutely anything. I think I just want to be available to them.
Yeah.
That's it. Just simple.
That's
the most important.
That's so important with all the mental health issues that we are hearing of, emotional health, mental health. I mean, if communication can be the free channel, they always have that path to reach out to you.
Yeah.
That would be like always is the best security ticket you can give. That okay, we are set as a family because we have our communication going.
And then eventually all these small things also flow in where like they love to spend time with you. And I mean, I feel like all of this kind of comes into play once you have that. They say that you should not be friends with your kids. Like there's a common philosophy, which I don't agree with a lot. I think you can have that friendship, but also keep that line where you are a parent. And I think that fine line, if you can strike that balance, I think you've kind of made yourself.
Okay, when they're in their 20s and they actually have friends and they only want to look at you as a mother.
Eventually it's going to get to that. But then later on, when they're maybe 40 and then they have you have your own parent. Now I talk to my mom constantly. She's like my best friend. So
then my mom, you start parenting your parents because when they are really much older,
babies again.
Then they are babies again. So it's so beautiful. We just spoke about the circle of life as we want to parent our parents at some point, and the children are parenting us at that point. It's just so beautiful. Yeah, we touched that today.
Yeah. And for me, I think more than with the children, I think it would be for the mothers is just acceptance. As mothers, we are going to be overstimulated. We are going to be overexhausted. We are going to be overexcited. I feel like if we just go with the flow, the rest of it will pave its path forward.
Wow.
Yeah.
You make it sound so easy, but like give us some one. You've given a lot today actually, but give us one more something like maybe like a normal work day. How did you just go with the flow, or something happened and you just went with the flow? Because examples and stories stay in the mind, and this what you have said today is profound. So I would like them to keep that narrative in their mind so that they can always remember it whenever a time like that happens in their life. Something, maybe even if it's a birthday party and you went with the flow, or something which you want to give them a tip if you remember something like that.
Recently I just had a very challenging day, not just as a mother, but I think as a daughter also. It was during, I think, my oldest one's 10th board exams. And my dad had his, I think, doctor's appointment the same day in the morning. I had a lot of meetings and presentations and deadlines to do. Then my daughter had her vaccination that day, and my youngest had to be taken for a birthday party, and he was very young at that time, so I wasn't even able to send him with a nanny. So I've gone to school to drop my son at I think 7:30, 8 a.m. Stayed there for 2 hours because the school is away. We stayed on our beach house and went and picked him back. Came home, picked my dad, took him to the hospital, finished his checkup, was in the office. Then took the little one for the birthday party, came back, took my second one for the vaccination. So by the end of the day, I was fried, but I said, okay, I'm exhausted. So the crux was not about how many things I packed, but my thing is like, no matter how crazy a day, for me, if I've had a crazy day, at the end of the day, I just go for a walk, sweat it out, come back home, have a good meal, read and sleep.
Wow.
It's
very
centering yourself
inspiring.
in that way, right?
Yeah.
Like you
So
can
when I look at things in a very simple way, it helps me move forward. If I give it that much importance, then I'm sure it will stress me out.
Yeah, it's the outlook. It's like how you look at things is very, very positive, I would say. Very positive. Amazing, ladies. I'm sure, there's so much to learn from it was a casual chat, but we shared a lot today, and I really hope that, the mothers out there watching have a great Mother's Day celebration and they pick cues from our chat today. Thank you so much, Aditi and Farah, for taking out, I know how busy you girls are, to take out time and sit with us to record this. We really had a blast.
Thank you.
I had
for letting us.
I'm sure we had a blast too. Thank you so much, and happy Mother's Day to all the mothers out there.